What's up? All right. This guy right here, over there, told me I need to come up with an intro. I don't have an intro. I don't know what the best thing to do for that is, but you know what? That's where I'm at. And eventually I'll get something and you guys will enjoy it. He went out with his grandfather this morning, I guess some maintenance on a truck or something like that. And he had to pick his grandfather up. They went out to breakfast or whatever kind of adventure they got into on the way home. But he came home and reminded me, based on his story, reminded me of a story that I have. Um, I actually completely forgot about this until it was brought up today, and it was the weirdest 11 car pileup that I had ever been in. Um, yes, tragic accident. Nobody got hurt as far as I know. I'll get into it and tell you what I do know from the witnesses that were there. But yeah, it was an 11 car pileup. So this happened in Virginia, somewhere around the year 2000. I believe it was the year 2000. I was driving my car, my prize car. Um, that's a story in itself, and I'll get into it. Actually, I had a 1990 Nissan 300ZX. Um, Back in my Navy days, everybody knew my car. It was metallic gold, had a carbon fiber hood on it with, just all decked out, Fast and the Furious style. I actually had this car before those movies came out. And at the time, my roommate had a Camaro that he would drive around, and he essentially souped it up. He didn't exactly soup it up. Everything was cosmetic. It wasn't, he didn't do any work to the engine. He didn't put, turbo boosters or anything else on it. It was strictly cosmetic. He put lights in it. He put Chevy symbols on all the wiring harnesses and in the engine compartment and everything. So he wanted me to do the same to my car, and I kind of did that. We detailed it one day. It took about 7 hours. Cleaned it all out, cleaned it all up. Just put some lights in there underneath the dashboard lights. I wanted to get the outside running lights under the wheels and everything, but I never got around to that. Had a $1,200. This is back in 2000. $1,200 stereo put in with the big bass speakers in the back and everything. Basically, I couldn't put anybody in my car. The amp was under the seat, so I had the screen, the TV screen in the car. Had a PlayStation 2 center console. That was after Fast and the Furious. If you ever watched the first one, he had the I don't know what game it was. I believe it was PlayStation 2 in the car, and he was playing a racing game in the car that he would race in the movie. Um, I had a couple things like that in my car: the screen, the DVD player, the PlayStation, the speakers, the amps, and everything. And then that car was, I want to say, taken away from me. It wasn't exactly. I brought it into the dealership to get a diagnostic done, and then at the time I wanted to soup up the car and have the dealership do that and any work to it that it needed, brakes and stuff like that, suspension and whatnot. And I drove it home that day, parked it, went to work, back and forth to the city. Not in the car. I was using another vehicle, but I was going back and forth to the city to go to work. 5 days later, I came back to drive my car, and the engine blew. I feel like the dealership did something to my engine to cause the damage, because as soon as I brought it back to them, they were like, "Oh, well, we'll sell you a new car." And I'm like, "But I want my car." So that was the end of my car, and it got destroyed. And I firmly believe that the dealership did something to it. That dealership had a reputation for shoddy work and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into it. just know that that's what it was. So anyway, the story I wanted to get into was the accident that I was in. Um, so I lived in Virginia. I believe I was driving on Mercury Boulevard, and I was turning to go to Walmart or wherever I was going. And coming down the road, it was kind of damp on the road, not exactly, but just it had rained earlier in the day, and then the sun was out, so the roads were still wet a little bit, but not slick, slippery, nothing like that. It was just the roads were wet. I'm driving down the road. I believe the speed limit was 45 at the time. Things could change. I don't know, but I started. I was going down the road, and I was making a left turn. And as I get to the light turns yellow. I'm like, okay, not going to run through the light. It's a busy intersection, whatever. So I stopped at the yellow light. And as soon as I got to the line, the light turned red. So I could have made it through. I didn't want to make it through. I wasn't in a rush or anything. And so I stopped, and I'm behind the line. And the car behind me does not stop and hit me, rear-ended me, and hit my car. Essentially, at the time, it was new to me, new car. I got the car in June of 2000, and so this was like September-ish. I don't remember the dates, but it was a couple months later. And so my car was new and to me, and I loved that car. I specifically went, I picked it out, like that was my car, that I worked for that, and this person hit my car. So I get out of the car and I go back, and they start yelling at me for not running the red light or the yellow light or whatever it was at that point in time. I did what I was supposed to do and I stopped. And they start yelling at me that I was the person who caused this accident, not them not paying attention or trying to run a red light, because they clearly would have hit that red light if I had gone through it. It was red. So they're yelling at me, and I'm like, whatever, call the cops. Just get them here. They're going to deal with you. I don't care. I did nothing wrong. So that's where I was. At that moment in time, while I'm standing there, there's a loud crash, a loud bang. Anybody who's ever been in a car accident, they know the sound. Just that metal hitting metal crunch. Somebody had run the red light going in the other direction and hit, and the collision was right in front of my car. So now there was two other cars involved in this accident, and it was a separate accident, but it was right in front of my car where this accident happened, and we had already called the police and had them on the way. If you've ever been in an accident, you know how long it takes for the police to get there. Could be 5 minutes, could be 10 minutes, could be a half an hour. Like, that it takes the police a while, and it's not immediately, unless they're driving by, and even then, those guys will just ignore you and keep going. So unless they're on their way to your call, it's going to take a little while. This was literally a minute after my accident. I get yelled at by this person, and I turn around, and there's another accident in front of my car. So now there's 4 cars in this accident, especially if the police are going to roll up. They're going to see 4 cars in this accident, but that's not all. After that, now those people are standing outside their car, and they're having their argument, whatever they're doing. Whoever hit who, whatever, I don't know. I wasn't involved, but what happened after that, now I have to pause here a second. My car is the front one on the line. The car that hit me is the second one on the line. And now there's a couple of other cars in the turn lane behind them waiting to turn. They're not too happy because we're not moving at all, and the light turned green and whatever. So there's 3 cars behind the car behind my car. So that, anyway, so there's the 2 vehicles that I was involved with, the 2 vehicles in front of us, all of a sudden coming in the other direction, so opposite direction of where my car was. This car comes flying down the road, ignored the car accident in the intersection, and jumped the curb, the center median, and comes over into the lane that I was in, or the turn lane that I was in, and hits the 3 cars behind the car that hit me. So there's now my car that hit me, 3 cars behind that, and all 3 of those were now struck by this person coming over the median. And then that person now swerves back into his lane of traffic and sideswipes another car that was traveling parallel to that vehicle that crossed the median. So let's recap. There's my car. There's the car behind me. There's the 2 cars in front of me. There's the 3 cars behind those cars that got hit. The one who came over the median, and then the one that got sideswiped. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's all the vehicles that were struck. Then after that, I don't know how this happened. Somebody was turning in onto Mercury Boulevard, heading in the opposite direction that I was going, and they ended up crashing into another car over there, turning on to the street that we were on. So now there was 4 different accidents that occurred here, and there was 11 cars total that were struck. So when it comes down to it, and the police start arriving, one of the people in the car, I believe it was the car that was sideswiped when the one vehicle went over the median. The car that was sideswiped, the person in the back of that car started having chest pain. So now you have injuries. It was every single one of these vehicles, nobody was injured except for the person who was having chest pains. So the police come up, the ambulances show up, and everything. Obviously, they called 911, and now they have multiple people calling 911. So they came in thinking that there was this massive pileup and bodies everywhere and stuff like that. So they start dealing with everybody else first, even though my car was the first car that was in this accident. I'm the one who started this whole thing. And apparently my car was the one with the least amount of damage in this whole thing. So I'm now getting yelled at by the cop, telling me to take my car, bring it over to the gas station, and he'll deal with me there. And they're trying to clean up this whole intersection and everything. And I get that. And, that's their job. But it's also the rule that if you're in an accident, don't move your vehicle so that the police can see what happened, so that, they can assess the situation, and then you're not getting in trouble for leaving the scene of an accident, even if you move your car 100 yards down the road and pull off to the side where it's safe. They just want it there. And if I'm wrong, please tell me, but that's just the way it is, as far as I know. And I've always done it that way. So, I recorded a video yesterday, my deer story, which somehow got deleted, so I'm going to have to retell that story. That's a good one. Stick around for that one. I do entertain people with that one too. But anyway, we'll get into that later. One cop says to another cop, "Here, go deal with them," and we go off in the gas station, and then they're dealing with the rest of the people there. Like I said, as far as I know, there was no injuries. Nobody got injured at all, vehicle damage, whatever. And then the old person had some chest pains and stuff like that. And I believe that was it. I don't know. I didn't get any more information about that. So I'm sorry to spoil that. So here I am, all pissed off at this lady who struck my vehicle. And She yelled at me, so now I'm really not happy with her. And essentially want to fight her, but whatever. The cop puts the two of us in the back of the police car together. Now, we weren't under arrest or anything. It's just the cop was having us fill out the paperwork, the accident report, or whatever, and just as a spot to put us, we had to sit in the back of the police car. So I'm sitting in the back of the police car, obviously. Um, those doors are locked from the outside. You can't just open them from the inside. And if I wanted to, I could beat the hell out of this lady, get a couple of shots in before the cop did anything. I'm not going to do that, but still, the opportunity was there. And now I have to sit next to this lady and listen to her lie to the cop. But in simply telling the truth, you could clearly see who was telling the truth. So the cop says, what's your story or whatever, and she says, yeah, I was driving down the road and this car stopped short in front of me, and um, I didn't make the turn, whatever she said. So the cop asked me, and I was like, oh yeah, well the light turned yellow and I wasn't going to run through it. I just wanted to be safe, and I made sure that I stopped, before the line and whatever. So then he asked the lady, I love this part. He asked the lady, he goes, approximately what was your speed when the impact happened? So she's like, well, I was doing the speed limit, and I believe when the impact happened, I was doing about 20 miles an hour. The cop says, okay, and he writes it down. And he says to me, Mr. Morales, at the moment of impact, what was your speed? And I looked at him, I was like, 0. I was stopped, completely stopped. And suddenly, that's when the lady let out this breath like, oh. She realized she messed up. If she said she was doing 0 and, or was slowing down or whatever, she just said she was doing 20. She was actually trying to go through that light. And she realized that it was her fault that this accident happened. The other 9 cars were not any part of this situation. However, because they happened and everybody was just on the side of the road and in the road, when the police rolled up, they thought that this was just this massive accident and everybody's calling 911, and realized that they were all individual situations that happened. So I ended up getting the when I bought the car, there were some scratches on it. I bought it used. I bought it at a police auction, and there were some scratches on it. But because of the impact on the back of the car, it actually had cracked the body kit that was put on the car. So they actually fixed that and replaced it and matched, paint matched and everything. So essentially, I got a new body kit on there because of this lady hitting the car. But yeah, that was my 11 car pileup, and lived to tell the tale.